There's no better economic policy than one that produces more graduates with the skills they need to succeed, to start their own businesses, to create their own Microsoft, to create new industries. And that's why reforming education is the responsibility of every single American, every parent, every teacher, every business leader, every public official, and yes, every student.
I am Shelley Toomey, and I am, I guess, David's mom, and I am also an engineer by profession, as well as a, I guess, close to retirement for the Air Force, Lieutenant Colonel in the reserves. So.
Good. And who are you?
I'm David. I attend Nashville Catholic Regional Junior High School in the 7th grade, and I am in honors classes. I like to play soccer. I also run track and cross country, and in the winter I wrestle.
So let's see. So we are in Massachusetts here. This is a town called Tingsboro. But you're going to Nashua Catholic. How long have you been there?
Well, they offer grades 7 and 8, so this is my first year, and I will be coming back for 8th grade as well.
So where did you go to school before Nashua Catholic?
I went to a school called World Elementary. It's since been changed to World Academy because they now offer middle school as well. It's a non-religious private school, also in Nashua, right across the border of Massachusetts. And I went there from 3rd grade through 6th grade. I actually went there for preschool and kindergarten as well, but since it costs money and my mom knew that I would be too attached to leave if she kept me there for 1st grade, she thought it was a good time to switch me to public schools. And so the cutoff for doing an extra kindergarten in New Hampshire is October 1st, but in Massachusetts it's September 1st. Since I was born on September 28th, when I switched to Tingsboro Public Schools, they made me do another kindergarten. And I didn't enjoy that at all. I did have some of my good friends there from the neighborhood that I still hang out with, but it was like preschool, except maybe even more primitive. It was very centered on almost only art projects and such, which were fun, but they weren't as educational as I would have hoped. I continued at the public schools in 1st grade, and 1st grade was no better. I learned possibly a little bit more there that I hadn't learned in my 1st kindergarten at Small World Elementary, but I still was very bored. I would finish my work in 5 minutes while we had 30 minutes to do it, and then I would go and read books on animals and maybe do a worksheet that I had brought from home or something of the sort. In 1st grade, I liked my teacher, and I liked the school in general, the people there, but I just didn't like the curriculum offered.
In a lot of my advocacy over the last 10 or 12 years, I'm dealing with policymakers. And one of the things about policymakers who are in the positions of power right now, they have matured professionally within a certain education framework, right? They were teachers typically once themselves, say 30 years ago or 25 years ago, and they assimilated that environment. They've assimilated an age-based grade. They've assimilated that this is how you get to be a principal. They've assimilated this is how you get to be a superintendent. They've assimilated that this is what our goals of education are. But a lot of them aren't necessarily thinking about those higher level goals of what are we really trying to do with our education system. They're perpetuating what they've learned and internalized very well. The people who succeed in the system are the people who internalize the system so well that propels them to succeed in that system. So, and I want to say that a lot of these people that I speak with, they're very capable people. They can think very well and very clearly, but they have a certain bias that's been developed over a long period of time that doesn't allow them necessarily to hear the issue, or even if they hear the issue, they still say, my job is to bring these kids out of the basement of education up to here, and all that's a later thing to worry about. I get a triage here. That's what they're looking at. They have a triage. They're hemorrhaging at some levels in our education system. They're focused on getting those arteries pressed and closed off, right? What I would love to be able to express to them is, if you do something different, we won't be hemorrhaging at the same time. They also have too many things to worry about. I mean, you know, any teacher, any principal, any superintendent, any commissioner of education has 1,000 things on their plate. They can't deal with them all. They have to just put the ones aside. I shouldn't say they have to. It comes down to a political equation. What are they getting the most grief about at what levels? Change that. It says that the state has an obligation to educate all students. And so what's the most egregious example of our not educating all students? It's those students that aren't literate after they graduated 12th grade. It's those students that can't add numbers in McDonald's and that have to depend on, you know, the cash register to tell them how much change to make, right? Those are what stood out. So that's what they see as their biggest obligation, is to take care of that. And in their mind, once they get that done, okay, we'll go and worry about these finer issues about gifted kids and high achieving kids and beyond the grade level and all that. They don't think of it as one big system that they can modify the system in a better way to accommodate all learners. That's how I try to look at it.
I guess math is probably the area in which I excelled mostly. I know that I kept bugging my parents. I would ask them to give me double-digit to double-digit multiplication problems. That was my favorite type of problem. Sometimes I would ask for division problems as well.
And how old are you at this point?
5 or 6.
So at 5 or 6, and so you were either in kindergarten or about to go into kindergarten. And so at about the time you were going into kindergarten, you were asking for division and multiplication problems as a way of amusing yourself.
Yes. I don't know if we've thrown them all out, but I also had workbooks of grade 3 or 4 level in math that, you know, just enrichment that I would do for hours. I still wasn't able to do division at a very proficient level, which in some ways has helped me because I now can do division in my head. I actually just learned how to do division on paper last year.
Stand beside